Hey crew, yes, you've read that title right, and the first minute and a half of this gameplay will prove it all to you. This is a 1590 Master Law sector, and I am 23 power level below it, and a Grandmaster is 25 below, so we're about as close as it gets, and we're solo in here running double primary weapons, and just look what we do to all the red bars and the 3 champions that we come up against. This just isn't fair. So with everything working properly, we have unlimited empowering rifts, unlimited fusion grenades that put out some serious damage, unlimited supers, as you can see we drop them back to back, and on top of all that we are basically invincible with our build. And what's even crazier and what truly makes this so strong in endgame content is you need 1 fusion grenade kill on any enemy every 10 to 15 seconds to keep the gameplay loop going. That's easy with how many fusion grenades we toss and how much damage they actually do. It's really mind-blowing, and I had to a clanmate test it out as well because I just wanted to get a second pair of eyes on it and get his impressions, and he said he's taking it into the dungeon that releases today on Master Mode because he literally said it's that good. In a second here, I'm going to show some gameplay against some champions that are actually at my level, and it takes 2 fusion grenades to take them down. That's crazy. So in any endgame content, we're dropping endless empowering rifts and Well of Radiant supers left and right for the entire team to take advantage of, dishing out some insane damage with our fusion grenades and ad clearing with the best of them, and the trigger for all of this to work properly is 1 fusion grenade kill every 10 to 15 seconds to make sure we get the empowering rift back and keep the loop going. Oh, and wait, we can't die. I want you guys to seriously think about it and what other endgame build can top this one. I tried to come up with one, but this just ticks every box off, and I seriously couldn't come up with one for endgame content that tops this. If you are new to the channel and found this video helpful, then make sure to hit that subscribe button for me and become part of the crew here. We're closing in on 100,000 subscribers, which is absolutely awesome. And thank you so much to everyone who's become a member of the channel and chosen to support me in a separate way and go a little beyond and above. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. So we're over here on the Warlock 3.0 Solar subclass, and man, does that ball of fire look sweet. So you want to be using Well of Radiance with this build. This is so you get the 25% damage buff when you're standing in the well, and then you're also continuously healing, or what they call restoration now. And so you want to definitely be using Well of Radiance with this, because as we're taking advantage of getting it so many different times, like literally 30 seconds later, you're going to have this in difficult content. You want to be using Empowering Rift. This ties into our exotic and the loop of the gameplay. Conjure a Well of Power that increases weapon damage for those inside it. It also goes to your teammates. That's a 20% damage buff. The normal melee, Incinerator Snap, and then the Fusion Grenade. Now, an explosive grenade that attaches to target, damaging and moderately scorching them on detonation. So it is going to leave Scorch. And then we also have a touch of Flame here, and what this does for our Fusion Grenade is it explodes twice. So it does some serious damage. You'll see numbers like 30 and 40k, a bunch of different damage numbers that you'll see, and it does some serious chunk damage, as you saw in the gameplay. And then we have Heat Rises. We're also using this. Final Blows while airborne increases the duration of Heat Rises and grant melee energy. Now for the 4 fragments, you can swap some of these out if you think there's a better option or something would work with your build better. But Ember of Solace is a mainstay. Radiant and Restoration effects applied to you have increased duration, so this makes our restoration last about 11 or 12 seconds instead of only 7 seconds. So we're surviving much longer, and that way we don't have to put our rift down or our empowering rift down every like 6 seconds. We can drop it like every 12 seconds. Then we have Ember of Ashes. You apply more Scorch stacks to targets. That way we can get the Scorch going up quicker, and because we want to ignite them for that big damage. We're doing Eruption here for our 3rd one. Your solar ignitions have increased area of effect, so that's what's making the big boom, so we also get a plus 10 strength out of this. And then I have on defeating targets with solar ignitions grants grenade energy, just to feed back into the grenades even more. That could probably be traded out with something else. I think I'm going to go with your solar ignition spreads Scorch to affected targets, and we get a plus 10 discipline out of this once we have this unlocked at some point in the future. Now for stats, I have 90 resilience, 68 recovery, and 82 discipline. That's what you saw in the gameplay that you watched. If I was to perfect this, I would go with 100 resilience, probably 100 recovery, and then something like 100 discipline if I can, or maybe like 80 recovery and 100 discipline, since you don't really need the recovery since we're always have ×2 restoration with this build. Now for weapons, the gameplay you're watching, I used DRANG, and the new perk on here is really great for solar builds. and it's probably the best perk in the game if you're going straight solar builds. So defeating a target spreads Scorch to those nearby. More powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause Scorch in a larger radius. You'll always want to be scorching because you always want to be igniting and getting the extra damage. And when you scorch things, right, it applies back to your subclass. So you can get more grenade energy while things are igniting or scorching, or you could get more melee energy off of one of these fragments when things are scorched, right? So a lot of different options here that you can go with, but that's why you always want things burning and igniting. Now for the armor over here on the helmet, we have double ashes to assets. This helps get our super back very quickly. Our grenades are very strong, as you saw, and those grenades are definitely going to kill things. We have an elemental ordnance here, so when the grenade kills something, we create a solar well. On the gauntlets, we have seeking wells, so the wells come towards us. Champion mods that you need, and then I also have momentum transfer. Causing damage with a grenade reduces your melee cooldown. Since we're throwing so many grenades, this is just going to feed back into our flick of our, melee that we can have up all the time, and I hardly ever use it, and I need to get better at actually using it with this combo. Now for our exotics, Starfire Protocol. Fusion Harness. Fusion grenades have an additional charge, so that's why we have 2 charges of the fusion grenade in the bottom left-hand corner, and recharge from empowered weapon damage. The cool thing about this is it's only from damage. So when you drop that empowering rift, for the 10-15 seconds that you're in there putting out damage, that's recharging your fusion grenades. That's how you see me throw a fusion grenade, shoot like 3 bullets at an enemy, throw the next one, shoot 3 bullets, throw the next one. That's your loop. The only kill that needs to happen is the second part of this that says fusion grenades kills grant rift energy. The way that I get my empowering rift back right away is it does a full recharge when I get 1 kill. So I need to make sure that when I drop my empowering rift and I throw out like 8 fusion grenades, right, doing my normal combo, that I at least kill 1 enemy with it. As long as I kill 1 enemy, the rift is fully recharged and the gameplay loop just keeps on looping. On the boots, I have Font of Might, so that way those solar wells that seek to me give me a 25% weapon bonus damage that stacks on top of the empowering rift damage, okay, because Font of Might stacks on pretty much any damage buff in the game. So now our solar DRANG is hitting pretty dang hard. Same thing with Cataclysm. And then on the class item, very important mods here from the artifact, Classy Restoration. Activating your solar class abilities grant you restoration. So now when we pop that empowering rift, we're getting the ×2 restoration for 12 seconds thanks to the fragment on our subclass, and that's what's allowing us to tank so much damage. A couple people are speculating that it might get nerfed. I'm not necessarily sure of this because there's only been a few times where they've nerfed artifact mods in the past, because an artifact mod is only there for 3 months, right? And they want you to kind of enjoy it and see the good parts about it. So with the kind of negative feedback we've gotten from Solar 3.0 so far, I don't think that they'll nerf this, but let's hope they don't. Another good one for this build, since we're throwing so many fusion grenades, scorching and igniting everything that we see, is Solar Fulmination. Your ignitions do increased damage in an increased radius. So this thing is doing a 20% damage buff on all the ignitions that happen. So now on some of the gameplay that I was testing it, instead of doing like 37,000 damage, I was up at like 46 because of the 20% damage increase. That's basically the build. The one other thing I want to mention is for weapons, stuff like Wither Horde, damage over time, dot damage, tick damage is really good. Because when you drop that empowering rift with Starfire Protocol, any damage, weapon damage, while you're in that rift is feeding your grenade. So if you stick someone with a Wither Horde, the tick damage is going to keep giving you those fusion grenades back. So a nice little combo that you can do there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. There's a couple of videos up on screen. If you have not seen them, go give them the watch. They're great builds and they'll make playing any class so much better for you with Solar 3.0. I think Solar 3.0 has been very, very good. I've seen the negative feedback, but personally, when you build it right, I think it's just as good as any other subclass. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.